Guys, remember in the original Avengers movie when Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, says to Loki, "We have a Hulk"? Remember that? Well, I kind of imagine that that's the dynamic going on when Marvel boss Kevin Feige thinks about his boy Nate Moore in the MCU. When it comes to all things black, we have a Nate Moore. That's all we need. When it comes to this, we run everything past him. He is the black stamp of approval that our guy Bo DeMaio was talking about in that recent statement that he released last week. This is what Marvel wants. It doesn't matter what anybody else might think. It doesn't matter what I think, any of these online people think, any of our voices doesn't matter. They have a Nate Moore. That is their black stamp of approval. If he says that, yeah, black people are like that, they'll love that, that's what they need, then Kevin Feige will say, that's okay for me, that's all I need to hear, and they'll go forward with that. He is the black stamp of approval, which is the reason why he needs to go, and we're going to talk about that here. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he, just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Now, guys, you might remember a couple of weeks ago, a rumor broke out that the MCU was considering recasting T'Challa. The rumor got out there. I think it was Jeff Snyder, My Time to Shine, hello. They came out with all of these things, and of course all of these black creators ran with it as a confirmation because we just swore that these white men knew what they were talking about, right? I put it that way because we've been talking about this for a long time on this side of things, and no one really pays attention. But when these guys start talking about it, everybody's like, it must be true. Let's go with it, right? Well, Nate Moore has fired back, and he is the black stamp of approval that Bo DeMaio was talking about. And Nate Moore has addressed this, and we're going to talk about it. This is on techradar.com, and the headline goes, "It's news to us. Black Panther 3 producer responds to rumors that the Marvel movie's titular hero will be played by a different actor for the third time." Now, I guess they're talking about Chadwick Boseman, the original and only T'Challa. We're talking about Shuri and whoever might be coming next. All right, so let's get into some of these things that the article is saying. Of course, I will leave the article here in the pinned comment below. Now, it says here, Marvel isn't actively looking for another actor to replace the late Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa in his cinematic universe, contrary to the rumors that we heard a couple of weeks ago. Now, it says that's according to Nate Moore, who told Tech Radar that the comic book titan hadn't discussed the prospect of recasting the character for Black Panther 3. Now let's scroll down, and because I want you to just start off, guys, with this, okay? Just this last sentence in this paragraph, just to show you where we are with our understanding of Black Panther in these circles. As it turned out, Marvel decided not to recast T'Challa, and as part of Wakanda Forever's plot, passed the African nation's protector-in-chief role onto Letitia Wright's Shuri, aka T'Challa's brother. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with that sentence? And it's so sad where we are today, guys. I'm dying inside, guys. I'm crying. I'm laughing to keep from crying. It says here, as it turns out, Marvel decided not to recast T'Challa, and as part of Wakanda Forever's plot, passed the African nation's protector-in-chief role onto Letitia Wright's Shuri, aka T'Challa's brother. Letitia Wright, is there something you would like to tell us? All right, no judgment, no judgment. All right, moving on. All right, let's get into why Nate Moore thinks this is so funny. Okay, let's see. Moore is baffled by the hearsay surrounding any casting news about the studio's next Black Panther film. When asked if he could comment on the rumors, Moore smiled giddily and said, "There's no truth to those rumors. What these YouTubers know? To be honest, Ryan Coogler is knee-deep on Sinners, so he hasn't really started cracking the story with us. So, it's funny to me to read all of these reports online of the villains, casting rumors, and this and that. It's all news to us." He's just so giddy with all of this. I guess it's funny what Denzel Washington said too. "Denzel, you's a liar, bro." According to this, they haven't even started talking about this. Now, he goes on to say, "What I will say is that it speaks to how much the fans love that property," he continued. "We should be so lucky for fans to be interested in it and want to know what's happening. I can honestly say we haven't done anything, so any reports are false, but I do look forward to getting back into it with Ryan once he's ready, he says. So it's just funny to him. And the article goes on to say this, guys. I want you to hear this as well. It'll be a long time before we see Black Panther 3. And keep in mind, guys, what I was talking about, my advocacy for all of this, why Black Panther T'Challa, the original T'Challa, not T'Child, not to Bastard, not to Sant, should go on, is because the kids need that. The kids have always needed that. Now we're going on 10 years, probably even more than 10 years. These kids are going to be all grown up. I'm trying to make people see the sense of urgency here, guys. All right? We can't afford to waste one generation of kids. All right, these kids need every single role model they could possibly get. You know, you could say it's all fiction if you want to, but you know, a lot of black kids, man, it's like they are in a state of emergency for real. So some of them need more than just to see Superman or to see Spider-Man. For a lot of us, that was cool. I grew up with Spider-Man. I grew up with Batman. I love those characters, but some of them really do resonate, you know, more with a character like a T'Challa or something like that. You know, when they see a character like Falcon, you know, or something like that, it means something, you know, in addition to seeing those other characters. But it'll be a long time before we see Black Panther 3. It'll probably be even longer before we see a T'Challa. But I want you to hear this. It's possible that T'Challa's aged up son could feature in one of the next 2 Avengers movies if Marvel wants to include him. They have to ask their black stamp of approval first, of course. Filming is reportedly expected to start on the first of those films, Avengers Doomsday, in March, so maybe we'll learn more then. Regardless of whether T'Challa's son appears in either or both films, there will be a new Black Panther production to enjoy later this year with Marvel's Eyes of Wakanda animated spin-off show set to debut on Disney+. All right, I don't have Disney Plus, so I won't be seeing that. You guys, I trust you to tell me how it is. But the point here, guys, is there is a great danger, a grave danger in having that black stamp of approval that Bo DeMaio was talking about. This is the reason why we want to spotlight the statement that he made. I don't see a lot of people like really running with this. It's not picking up the traction that I thought it would. But then, considering what we're talking about here, it's always been that way. It's been an uphill battle ever since we've been talking about this thing, you know? The so-called more mainstream channels, they're not going to talk about this. You know what I mean? The ones who have an audience with, you know, with Pierce Morgan and stuff like that. It's like, that's not going to be something that they necessarily talk about. That isn't the front lines of this fight. You know what I mean? So it falls on all of us who understand the urgency of this situation to make Marvel listens, to understand that Nate Moore is not the black stamp of approval. You hear that, man? He clearly did not grow up around so-called black people. You know what I mean? He doesn't share those concerns. He doesn't have those passions. He can't possibly understand what these legacy characters mean. He cannot be the black stamp of approval. I reject that. I push back on that. That's what Bo DeMaio was talking about, which is why he earned my respect. There should be no black stamp of approval. There is only the audience stamp of approval. And if your audience is saying this is not what we want, the actual audience, the actual people who grew up reading these comics, the actual people who understand these comics, then that's who you should be listening to. Not Nate Moore, not Ryan Coogler, not any of the cast on the film, none of them. We are the voices that matter. It's about time that these people understood that. But no, we can't even get it together ourselves. All right, we have people who are pushing back on us. What does the black community want? I don't know, because when I talk about things like this, I get the pushback. You know, I get called names. Why can't you people just shut up? Oh my God, you're so annoying. Well, how long has it been since Chadwick Boseman has passed away? How long has it been since we've seen this historical character on the big screen? How long will it be if we ever get T'Challa, the original T'Challa, the real T'Challa, back on the big screen? It won't be because of lard asses like you who just bent over and took everything. It'll be because of people like us who stood here and said, no, this is what we want, who exercised our rights and our voices as customers. We are that so-called black stamp of approval, if you will, the audience's stamp of approval, regardless of race. This is what we're talking about. These people want to chop us up and carve us up. All right. But ultimately, it is the audience who grew up with these things, who grew up with the source material. We are the ones with the voice. We are the ones with the money. We are the ones that you should be listening to while you're laughing and thinking that it's funny, Nate Moore. But anyway, that's it for this video. You can get in the comment section. As always, it's your turn. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Thank you to everybody who contributes to the channel. That's the only way I get paid on YouTube. So I thank you guys once again. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.